Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Naše programy nabízejí více jazyků. Prosím navštivte suprememastertv.com/schedule.
What happens to each of us is ordered. It furthers our destiny. For there is a single harmony, and in that case, let's accept it, as we accept what the doctor prescribes. Please continue watching for the contemplative writings of the ancient Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius.
Piacere di conoscerla. This is how the warm-hearted Italian people would joyously greet you. It means pleased to meet you in Italian. Beautiful viewers, I'm Agatha. The friendly citizens of Italy wish you a blessed life with countless good fortune in the care of the Providence. Welcome to From Marcus Aurelius Meditations selection from Book 5, Part 1 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor of the 2nd century, also known as the last of the 5 good emperors after Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, and Antoninus Pius. During his 19 years of leadership, Aurelius gained a reputation as a philosopher king. Founding his beliefs on the teaching of Stoicism, the Roman emperor was also diligent in finding his own way of self-improvement. Stoicism is an ancient Hellenistic philosophy that teaches one to accept and surrender to what life brings without seeking pleasure or having fear of pain, and to treat others in a fair and respectful manner. Marcus Aurelius wrote personal notes and ideas on Stoic philosophy and spirituality as a source of guidance for himself. These notes, originally written in ancient Greek, formed a collection called Meditations. This book has been revered by many other philosophers over the centuries and is praised as a real testament to a government of duty and service. Today we will read a selection from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, Book 5. The Stoic philosopher elaborates on some basic morals and values which are natural laws in life. Meditations, Book 5. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things that I was brought into this world to do?
Or is this what I was created for?
To huddle under the blankets and stay warm?
But it's nicer here.
So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? But we have to sleep sometime. Agreed. But nature set a limit on that as it did on eating and drinking. And you're over the limit. You've had more than enough of that, but not of working. There, you're still below your quota. You don't love yourself enough, Or you'd love your nature too and what it demands of you. People who love what they do wear themselves down doing it. They even forget to wash or eat. Do you have less respect for your own nature than the engraver does for engraving, the dancer for the dance, the miser for money, or the social climber for status? When they're really possessed by what they do, they'd rather stop eating and sleeping than give up practicing their arts. Is helping others less valuable to you? Not worth your effort? To shrug it all off and wipe it clean, every annoyance and distraction, and reach utter stillness, child's play. If an action or utterance is appropriate, then it's appropriate for you. Don't be put off by other people's comments and criticism. If it's right to say or do it, then it's the right thing for you to do or say. The others obey their own lead, follow their own impulses. Don't be distracted. Keep walking. Follow your own nature and follow nature along the road they share. I walk through what is natural until the time comes to sink down and rest, to entrust my last breath to the source of my daily breathing, fall on the source of my father's seed, of my mother's blood, of my nurse's milk, of my daily food and drink through all these years, what sustains my footsteps and the use I make of it, the many uses. No one could ever accuse you of being quick-witted. All right, but there are plenty of other things you can't claim you haven't got in you. Practice the virtues you can show: honesty, gravity, endurance, austerity, resignation, abstinence, patience, sincerity, moderation, seriousness, high-mindedness. Don't you see how much you have to offer beyond excuses like can't?
And yet you still settle for less.
Or is it some inborn condition that makes you whiny,
And grasping and obsequious?
makes you complain about your body and curry favor and show off and leaves you so turbulent inside? No, you could have broken free a long way back, and then you would have been only a little slow, not so quick on the uptake, and you need to work on that as well, on that slowness,
Not something to be ignored.
let alone to prize. Some people, when they do someone a favor, are always looking for a chance to call it in. And some aren't, but they're still aware of it, still regard it as a debt. But others don't even do that. They're like a vine that produces grapes without looking for anything in return. A bee with its honey stored, and a human being after helping others. They don't make a fuss about it. They just go on to something else as the vine looks forward to bearing fruit again in season. We should be like that, acting almost unconsciously. Yes, except conscious of it, because it's characteristic of social beings that they see themselves as acting socially and expect their neighbors to see it too. That's true, but you're misunderstanding me. You'll wind up like the people I mentioned before, misled by plausible reasoning. But if you make an effort to understand what I'm saying, then you won't need to worry about neglecting your social duty. Prayer of the Athenians. Zeus, rain down on the land and fields of Athens. Either no prayers at all, or one as straightforward as that. Just as you overhear people saying that the doctor prescribes such and such for him, like riding, or cold baths, or walking barefoot, say this: nature prescribed illness for him.
Or blindness, or the loss of a limb,
or whatever. Their prescribed means something like ordered, so as to further his recovery, and so to here. What happens to each of us is ordered. It furthers our destiny, and when we describe things as taking place, we're talking like builders who say that blocks in a wall or a pyramid take their place in the structure and fit together in a harmonious pattern. For there is a single harmony, just as the world forms a single body, comprising all bodies, so fate forms a single purpose, comprising all purposes. Even complete illiterates acknowledge it when they say that something brought on this or that. Brought on, yes, or prescribed it. And in that case, let's accept it, as we accept what the doctor prescribes. It may not always be pleasant, but we embrace it because we want to get well. Look at the accomplishment of nature's plans in that light. The way you look at your own health and accept what happens, even if it seems hard to accept. Accept it because of what it leads to, the good health of the world and the well-being and prosperity of Zeus himself, who would not have brought this on anyone unless it brought benefit to the world as a whole. No nature would do that. Bring something about that wasn't beneficial to what it governed. So there are two reasons to embrace what happens. One is that it's happening to you. It was prescribed for you, and it pertains to you. The thread was spun long ago by the oldest cause of all. The other reason is that what happens to an individual is a cause of well-being in what directs the world, of its well-being, its fulfillment, of its very existence even. Because the whole world is damaged if you cut away anything at all, from its continuity and its coherence, not only its parts, but its purposes. And that's what you're doing when you complain.
hacking and destroying.
Not to feel exasperated or defeated or despondent because your days aren't packed with wise and moral actions, but to get back up when you fail, to celebrate behaving like a human, however
Imperfected
and fully embrace the pursuit
that you've embarked on.
and not to think of philosophy as your instructor, but as the sponge that relieves ophthalmia, as a soothing ointment, a warm lotion, not showing off your
Obedience to the logos, but resting in it.
Remember, philosophy requires only what your nature already demands. What you've been after is something else again, something unnatural. But what could be preferable? That's exactly how pleasure traps us, isn't it?
Wouldn't magnanimity
Be preferable? Or freedom? Honesty? Prudence?
piety?
And is there anything preferable to thought itself, to logic, to understanding? Think of their sure-footedness, their fluent stillness. Sympathetic viewers, we appreciate your company for today's Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Unifying Australia, how changing one word changes everything. Right after noteworthy news, please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming. May purity of heart and mind accompany your lives always in heaven's grace.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.